points and difficult crossing. That's why you don't see a ton of contested drops in that area. Areas, though, like Paradise Resort and, of course, Boot Camp are always going to be a little bit trickier. We do see GCB, Busan all alone here.
Well, you have Team Seoul. They are just north of them in their warehouses. So, I mean, we might see an early clash coming in soon here.
It's a smart play by Seoul. Those warehouses are tier 3 loot spots. They've got good enough stuff that you can get equipped and put up a good fight. The problem is, if they choose to take the fight to Busan, they have to cross that open road area. So it's either move fast and fight or loot and run.
Well, what you want to do if you're Seoul, you want to send one guy straight across right now, make sure he can scout to make sure that there's no one coming for them.
In the meantime, let's check in at Painan. We've got a similar situation, a great spot to share in terms of a hot drop. The river separates the two sides. It looks like Queso going to have a bit of a stronger position on the larger loot side, but they have to be worried. One of the best teams in the world, Froz, is staring across the river, hoping to start off with 4 easy points.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want it to be too aggressive. Remember, most of the points accumulated from placement itself. You don't want to be too aggressive. You don't want to lose place. You want to keep them towards the end of the game.
Brazilian Killers decide to go to Ruins. It looks like it's uncontested. This is amazing news for them. The reason they got it, though, is because it's out in the middle of nowhere. They've got to cross 2 potential rivers. It's a long transition. However, they're going to be coming in kitted to the nines when it comes to those final fights.
Look, we can see that they're here all by themselves, but you want to be careful because they don't know. Someone might be lurking just outside by the small compounds and just watching them and saying, hey, now's the time to go, boys.
Speaking of lurks, let's check out with Senior up on top of the roofs. He's watching for Queso. He needs to see, are they pushing or are they going to leave? If they try to leave, he's got the SLR. He's watching the hill. He could potentially get that knock. Now we jump over to Paradise Resort, where XQuest is getting their loot on, and honestly, also uncontested. Jimmy out there looks like he smells a rat. Maybe thinks SSG is headed in his direction and wants to trap him.
I think he already spotted him, and he's just lurking here and taking it easy while his teammates are still looting. He's just making sure that they don't push them right now.
They definitely dropped, watched each other go down, and it looks like XQuest has decided they want to be aggressive. Remember, these guys fragged out during the early rounds. They're looking to keep those numbers high. They're one of those teams that's not as interested in placement as they are in straight-up kills.
Exactly. They're an aggressive team. I like to see that. And we saw that. They're straight on pushing towards SSG right now. They want to get those kills early on here.
But you know what? They're not the only people looking at Space Station Gaming. Seoul, a team that has been fighting since the beginning, even fighting to get here to Berlin, looks like they want to potentially take the fight early as they move up the hill. We see them start to climb up, take a little bit of an overlook position here. Is it better? Do you want to fight early here, Froz?
I mean, if you can get the upper hand, you can spot the team, you know that you can take out 2 of them straight away, do it. That means 2 points, and also you can get their loot.
Ronak going to go ahead and seize. He's looking for those peaks, a little bit left and right, a little bit of wiggle. Viper now being covered as he makes his advance. It's a systematic push coming out of Seoul as they take turns leapfrogging point to point.
I mean, look at the utilities that Seoul have right now. Ronak and Viper, they only got 1 first aid between them both.
But worth noting, Viper is the one who's out in front. He's also the one with the tier 3 vest. That's what you want to do. The man who's best equipped, the man who's got the AR with the red dot, that's the guy you put out in front on these pushes.
This is why you might want to take the fight if you can risk it, because you're going to need that utilities later on in the game. And the quicker you can gather it up, the better.
Honestly, I think the big issue here, there it is, there's the open. Viper gets the knock, and it's going to be Carnage who's having Carnage spread around. It's going to be open game. Juicy up into the Deer Tower, trying to catch a little bit of Overwatch, but it's too little, too late. SSG now working at a deficit.
Look at Angry, though. Angry is on the other side of the road, where 6S and Juicy is on the other side. Now, he got to be careful. He don't want to get caught by Seoul as well. He might just play it safe here and try to see if he can catch someone off guard, or try to make the others of his from his team try to get their attention. And because if Sixless and Juicy can get the attention of Seoul, Angry could go for the flank itself and try to take them down from behind. And look at it, it's a little bit stalled. No one really wants to push it right now. And they're just taking it easy here. No really rush for it right now. And they want to take the time, get all the information they can.
All right, Viper, nice little layup, gonna be covered. And this is what I think Seoul is doing really, really well, is covering each other's back. Let's jump over to Top Esports, another team that's running a short, what we call like a short range flex, right? They've got 2 and 2. They're covering a hilltop and a push point. Sandhawk, one of those places where you can always be backstabbed. It is the king of the third party in return to the, and you know, considering this map.
Yeah, look at that. They also got a bucket. They're refueling right now, getting ready. They want to use it.
Honestly, I like it. One of the issues for me on this map is there's not a ton of cover in some of these larger valley areas. And while getting blown up in a car is always, you know, a truly scary thing, when you need the cover, when the last fight is in the open and there's only a couple of rocks to use, having the vehicle to sort of tack onto there, to use for cover, to make a forced emergency rotation is always a good thing.
I mean, you can always use it as a decoy to draw the attention of a team as well. Make them shoot you, and then the rest of your team, they get the information. They know exactly where the enemies are.
Absolutely. You got to remember, it's you can always ghost ride the whip a little bit and get people to draw a few shots away. Everybody loves shooting at cars. I think it's one of my favorite pastimes for sure. Let's jump over to, it looks like Scars Black. Shimon making a good job of the loot. I mean, they haven't been contested yet. They haven't had a ton of issues, but they do have Queso nearby.
Yeah, they have Queso just next to them, so they got to be careful. You don't want to run into them in the open.
I mean, you don't want to run to anybody in the open, but right now what we're seeing is sort of everyone waiting for the first shot. That idea that you don't want to be the one that engages because it gives away too much information. This is the information gathering phase of the rotations. Teams are going to be looking for a middle spot with at least a 30% chance of pulling the next circle towards them. So that's why we see everybody sort of off the fringes. If you're, you know, you don't want to play the edge, especially here, you want to make sure you're as close to the center as humanly possible.
I also like the split here coming in from GC Busan because they have 2 guys in the compound itself holding it down while you have 2 guys outside. So if someone tries to crash you, you still have people on the outside that can do something about it.
I mean, you got to remember the format is placement heavy, so having that sort of extra backup, the extra life of worst case scenario, you lose 2 while 2
Look at this though.
All right, Old Boy looks like he's hunting for Nova. Unique and Nova starting to war it out. This is the beginning. Bandit gets knocked a little bit early. That's opened up the chance for Unique to be aggressive. He preps up the grenade, gets a nice toss. Is the cook going to be good? No, it's enough to send a little bit of a message here as Nova tries to form up and protect the res.
Unique got their upper hand here. They got the high ground. They got the compound to play from. They can take it easy. They also got the knockout. So, I mean, take your time. Look at that.
What a shot. Old Boy takes Jin down with a beautiful 4X, and now he immediately relocates. Never shoot twice from the same spot. Sees him go again, puts up the 4X spray, almost gets it. Meanwhile, Jin just counting the moments for the flush.
And right now, Unique is playing it safe. They get him, picking him off one by one, just by the book.
But that's it, is you want to keep moving. You want to be systematic. You don't want to overforce a flush, put yourself in a bad spot. Old Boy taking some fire as he advances, has a little bit of cover to get that first aid kit off, but only because Nagi is off to the right side, making sure that he can't get flanked. That is the key here. Always have your 4th man out, watching your back. The fire back and forth, the reses have gone up. Looks like AY taking some serious damage as he's trying to play the same role on the opposite side as Nagi of finding that flank position. Yasha going around, but he's got to worry because it looks like Bigatron might not be too far away. They're hearing this. They might want to get involved.
This is the thing. The fight has been going on for a while, and he's scared that they'll get third party from behind. So he's actually going back to watch the back right now. Since the other guys on the team, they have the upper hand already.
Okay, well, I got another knock, but very smart. Watching your back is a very big deal. AY hasn't had a chance to get himself back up to full, so it's becoming a bit of an impasse from 2 teams that want nothing less than to be in this situation. They're sure they've got a decent spot on the map, but everyone else now knows exactly where they are.
And no one really wants to move up, but look at that. AY goes down.
Yeah, with a nice little spray there from the distance. These guys are absolutely phenomenal. It's what they specialize in, is getting those mid-range sprays. Bandit looks like his toe is exposed. Takes the damage, has to duck back a little bit, but now it's just about aggression from Unique. Old Boy and Nagi going with a nice little push here, spraying the grass, making sure no one's hiding. Old Boy to the left, Nagi to the right. It's a 1-2 punch of thank you very much. And they go ahead and finish off.
One by one, only Chaoji is left right now from Nova. It looks like he might be trying to retreat because right now he can't do much about this situation for the team.
When you're down to one, you play for placement. Either you can't really go rogue. You know Unique's got the chance to loot, and this is great news for them. The third party never came. That means they have time to loot 3 boxes. They're not going to get pushed by the solo, and they can form back up and take a breath. That's an important part of PUBG, sometimes needing to take that breath after a fight and replan what your next move is.
I mean, let's be honest, they're pretty central in the circles, so they didn't need to engage this fight at all. Nova, they could have tried to push back a little bit more, but they got stuck in a bad situation, in a bad spot there, because Unique, they had that good compound.
Meanwhile, let's jump over to RRQ, who is now in a fight with Queso. These guys have been watching each other for a little while, and Queso, remember, they dropped in the same spot. They told me they were one of the best in the world. We're tired of being disrespected as a team. We're going to drop with RRQ. We're going to fight Athena, and we're going to make them pay. And now's their chance to put their money where their mouths are.
And looking at it, it's a fair fight right now. No one's really doing any damage to each other.
Tell that to Axel, who took a little bit of a pop and I think is maybe a little bit worried about the high ground advantage that RRQ Athena has over them right now. They're going to use that low and slow push style, making sure they're covering any kind of counter push coming from Team Queso.
I mean, both of the teams, they are on the southern edge of the new circle, as we could see. So they don't really need to engage this fight either. But right now, they got to be careful because they start shooting the people nearby. We have a few teams nearby, and they heard the shots. They saw the information.
Not far away, a team that is nearby is the RRQ. All of these teams, they're playing very close to the edge. They're not in the best, position for sort of the next circle. So when you get caught in these long engagements here on the edge, like we're seeing a couple of these teams on the mini-map right now, it doesn't set you up for the end game, Frauds. It hurts you because it's just a non-win for whichever team comes out on top on the edge.
I mean, let's be honest, the southern part of the new circle, it's kind of close towards the center of the last circle, and you want to avoid that because that's where everybody's grouping up. We could see on the north side, you had Purple Mood. They're all by themselves almost. You only got Xiaoqi from Nova Esports that is still up there.
Absolutely, we got a massive amount of players, 60 players alive, all 16 Steam teams still in. Nova down to 1 player, and SSG has lost 1 player. Everyone else working as 4s right now, and that is a big part of working for placement towards the end of the map. But that also means chaos cannot be far away, Frauds. BRK moving forward.
Oh.
RQ spots. Boozy goes down. Here's the molly. He's getting loaded up. Nice throw. Good for zoning. The question is it going to push them off of the rock? It's right next to him. Mitek, not a lot of options in terms of going for this res. Defensive smoke comes up, but RRQ with the advance. It's strategic. It's smart. It's inside. Now he just has to go around that right side and get the flush. He sees him. That's the knock. 69 putting in the work. That's a 1. That's a 2. Can he make it a 4?
RQs keep on pushing, but as you can see, Brazilian killers, they are falling back right now. They know that they are just getting killed there.
They're getting systematically dismantled. Killed is not a word enough for the situation they caught themselves in. RRQ Athena has just read them their rights, and they have to run. Their last survivor, I think, just needs to extricate himself from this situation.
Yeah, I mean, we're still only in phase 2. We got a new circle coming up in just a few seconds here. And then we go, oh my God, it's going up to the north.
Whew, that's a bit of a yeet to the north there. I'm not sure how these teams are going to survive it. We had a lot of teams stacked up in the south. Remember, we talked about a lot of teams packing up on the big island, but it was all on the south side. So we're going to see a massive exodus of movement as these teams try to get themselves up into even the Mong Nai region or higher, looking to get themselves some safety. Nova's the lone survivor from Nova. I just want to tell everybody, safely to the north. He scored the circle and lucky to do so.
Senab. Bleeding out. That's him down for this game. But if you're the teams on the south side right now, you want to make a wide rotation. You want to go far east or far west and then push towards the north.
Let's take a look at Scars as they get into a fight with Queso. Queso can't seem to find a place to come in or call home, as every time they rotate away from someone, they run smack into another. Scars black, Reno here putting in some work, taking shots in return, but Queso is in the blue. They can't stay in there. They know they have to come out, and maybe Scars sees a chance to put a few extra kill points on the board.
We're only on phase 3, so the blue, it doesn't hurt too much right now. It's not too bad for Queso. They can still make something work, make a big flank around the blue.
And that's exactly what they're going to have to do. The problem is it means abandoning their teammates. It's been the name of Sandhawk so far, is sometimes the better part of Valor is the willingness to quit. They know they're in trouble and they have to run away. We saw that with the Brazilian Killers, and now we're seeing it with Queso.
Yeah, and looking at it, the teams are setting themselves up. As we know, with the new circle, that we still have Paradise Resort inside it. Now, I don't think too many wants to be closer because you never know if people are lurking there already. You want to avoid that kind of part of the circle.
GC Busan looks like they took a couple of shots uphill from top esports as they have the uphill advantageous position. The Rezzes were able to get off, though, and look for Busan to try and withdraw from this position, just like we saw Queso do in the last one. It's just a very strong place. You can see Years using that lean. If you want to up your game back at home, that's one of the biggest things you can do. Learn to use that lean the way that guys like Years and Fireboy do.
Look at it. Top esports, they're gonna try to fall back. They don't want to take this fight. They know that it's still too early. It's only phase 3. They want to wait. Phase 5, that's when we're expecting a lot of action coming in.
And I want to point out, a lot of teams haven't said no to fighting. They've said no to fights that last longer than 42 seconds or so. You have the chance, you take the advantage, but once you don't get the kills, it's time to go. It's time to make the right choice. PLM and Unique going head-to-head. Unique gets a beautiful spray down. Old boy hits the headshot. Excellent execution. Now, when coming up, he wants to make the play there and gets the return.
And that's Team Unique.
Done.
16 plays in the first game. I mean,
it's a tough start, but you know what? They put up a good fight. It was a great spray to open against PLM, but PLM had a full squad. 2 got knocked by Unique there. That's why you want to keep 4 alive. That's why we see teams backing off of these early fights, because the need for maintenance to have 4 in those moments is so incredibly important.
And it's just game 1. We still have 15 to go. So, hey, heads up. It's still going to be so much more to show to people.
Yeah, I'm a little bit terrified of what's about to happen as this next circle closes. The blue is about to touch the white. It's going to shrink down. We're still sitting here with 15 teams, many of which still have 4 players alive, though it has changed dramatically over the last few minutes. Take a look at that shift. Hard push over to the left side. PLM, who just won that fight against Unique in the king spot. The problem is there's not a lot of cover there, so a lot of teams are going to be pushing in on top of them, I think.
Yeah, and you also have All Rejection Gaming on the west side of there. They could go a little bit north and try to take that compound. Meanwhile, XQF, they're on the edge of the new circle there. They might want to keep other teams out from it, but we see Nova, we see some other teams, they're trying to rotate towards the north.
Absolutely. PLM, I think, take the compound if you can. I think they're worried somebody might already be there, so making the right choice, stay in safe. The problem is the south side of the map is getting crazy. Paradise Resort, we see Juicy and the rest of the crew moving in. They struggled during the scrims and the practice rounds today. They'd like to do well here. The problem is we've got top esports coming in just to the east of them. They're about to come out of the door. This could very well come down to who spots whom first as they both try to make a push out of this very difficult area for us.
Yeah, and look at top esports here. They kind of have the upper hand because they are on the low ground. They can just look above them. And they can spot SSG maybe, but looks like SSG is going to keep on running through Paradise Resort right now.
I love how comfortable they're looking inside of their little pit right now, legs crossed, lounging on the couch as if it's not $180,000 on the line. Let's go to Cat, who's using that 4X. He knows the smoke is there. He says, hey, somebody's coming from this side. Let's do what we can to lock them out and slow them down.
XQF here trying to hold out Big E-tron, and I mean, they got one of them down so far. Looking for a second one, they got him.
Jimmy gets the second knock. That means the Rezzes are just no longer safe in this area, and he was lights out. With that, there was nothing they could do to maintain the res. Bigatron in some serious trouble as XQuest just stares down the barrel and locks him up behind the rocks.
Luxy, last man standing right now, but Ryzen, he's only knocked, and Luxy, he could still get him up and they could get away from there.
But it's at what cost? They walked into the trap. They already guaranteed loss 2. How do you push in from that point? They're going to have to hunker down and wait this one out. But not to be outdone, Cat scanning everywhere else. It looks like XQuest has done a good job of not just tunnel visioning on the fight. They always have someone looking at the flank, somebody watching a potential push. These guys know how to avoid third parties. So far, it's been spectacular to watch.
I mean, having a compound for yourself is also really nice because you know you're always safe, you have your back covered.
Cat is going ape right now. Ryzen trying to run. His only blessing, Cat ran out of bullets. It buys him some space. Ryzen with the duck, bob, and weave makes it to the rock. But he has to be thankful that there just were not enough bullets in that gun.
Yeah, and we're going to see a new circle soon. The question is, what is XQF going to do here? Because they let Big E-tron move away, and they might be setting up an ambush because they know exactly where XQF is. Never mind, because XQF got the compound inside the next circle here.
They are comfortable and they are happy, and PLM's gonna sweat a little bit because, like we said, more people are gonna be moving on to that spot in the open that they are in. Cat can just keep playing defense. The rest of the team's making long rotations. Top Esports and SSG, we talked about them a little bit earlier, trying to find their way into the circle, but look how comfortable. Look at this XQF compound. It is defended, it is good, and there is just no way to get in there right now.
But still, it's a very big compound. Even if you have 4 people up, it's gonna be hard to hold it.
Juicy, baby. He gets that nice little knock out of nowhere. It wasn't Top Esports they ended up engaging. He causes some trouble, but does the smart thing and moves away. Soul and a BRK, the last survivor, gonna have to go head-to-head as this blue starts to advance.
Yeah, and now this is the kill zone. We're in phase 5. You saw the SSG, they got 1 knock on Soul. They wanted to move on because they know they need to move east towards the circle right now.
And that will be it. It looks like the trap that they set was just too strong. SSG holding down the edge of that Paradise Resort.
Angry. He spotted Top Esports.
And they literally just chill as all. They knock out one of the favorites. They hurt him really badly. And now they're going to float away to a good defensible position. Smart play from Space Station Gaming.
Very smart move. They don't want to take the fight, even though they spotted Top Esports and Top Esports didn't spot them. They want to cross the road. They want to make sure that they can get safely into the circle.
But Soul's not out of it. Viper survived the trap, so he is the remaining hope for the crowd favorite here. And I believe if anybody can snake their way deeper into this match, it's going to be Viper. Checking in with Top Esports, years trying to stay ahead of the blue, but it looks like Bigatron right there inside of the house. They're playing right next to each other.
Oh my God, we got a new circle. PLM once again getting the circle.
Purple Mood Gaming, more like sweet circles. These guys are incredible. They found a good spot. They earned it. No, take that away from them. They had to fight unique for that spot, but they have managed to get the circle on top of the hill. This was a tough spot, but now it is strategically incredible. The top of the hill, they can see everyone coming. They just have to worry about third parties.
They also played it well from the start. They took the north side of the map. They wanted to have control. They got the control, and they got to choose exactly where they wanted to play from. But look at this. Zooms is knocked.
He is knocked. We see ELG coming in from down below. It looks like Ming making a move. They throw a smoke out. Nawan wants to try to go for the res, but he is very, very low at this point. Nawan knows that he has one threat, but not sure how to handle it. I think we're going to see the end of Zooms here. Not much they can do to take that risk. Meanwhile, Sixless popping off and Ryzen. What can he do? Is this the end for Bigatron? They lose one more to the blue here, and that'll be the second. So it looks like XQF putting in some serious work over there on BTR.
Looking at the map right now, it's only PLM that is inside the circle, and everybody else is trying to push in. PLM, they are splitting up 2-1 split, 200 north, and CC is alone on the south, trying to hold that.
They had the spot, they had the scout, but the flick headshot was it. The PLM has lost their scout position. Jasper knocked down behind the rocks.
PLM up.
It's falling apart. That's the danger of being in the middle, is everyone else wants what you have, and if you can't defend it, they're gonna take it by force.
And we're now down to 4 teams. Oh my God, who's gonna bring home the first chicken dinner?
This is excellent. We got XQuest with 3, Scars with 4, Space Station with 2, and ELG Elite Gaming with 4 players. So we see the odds are stacked against XQuest and Space Station, But if they can get Scars to fight with Elite so that they can sort of come in and look for those third parties, it could very well make up for the deficit in numbers.
Look, you don't want to be the first one to take the fight here. You want to be the one who's third party. You want the other teams to fight. You want to get the information because then you know, all right, I can move into position to take you out after your fight is done.
Absolutely. No, and that's where you see everybody go to ground. They're going to work inside of the grass. Vision is tough. Backpack, no one wants to be spotted. There's the old drop the bag. How much ammo do you need to win this, and how many meds do you need to hold on to as we see these players start to advance towards each other? When you see the knock, the spot, that's when a team has the ability to potentially stand up or send one as the executioning squad and wait for the possible third.
That's also the thing. Do you want to go for a flush straight away after you knock them because you don't have too much ammo since you dropped your backpack already?
Absolutely. Elite Gaming inside of the next circle, going to be very comfortable there on their edge. The rest of the team very close.
The
Cat with the double!
One.
XQuest gets the double burn down. Jump over to Juicy. He's not happy with it. He goes after Jimmy. Jimmy pays for his brassness. That's what we talked about. Let XQuest engage. Juicy wants to come up and try to get the four. Finish the team if he can. He's got two more knocks. He's up. Is he going to be able to do it? Knockdown, beautiful play by Juicy there. Let's jump over to Scars. Naoto getting a nice shot through the grass. He knows where they are. He can't see them directly, but he's going to open fire. Juicy still dealing with XQuest. This is a big confidence booster for him. Meanwhile, it looks like Scars has taken care of Elite Gaming off on the side.
Juicy goes down.
To 3. Juicy does go down. That's going to be Cat, the only one left standing from XQuest. Paraboy knocked, but we'll be able to get back up on this one.
Scars Black trying to get the flush here. We're trying to fight Cat, but Shimo, he goes down.
So Scars trying to make that play. Meanwhile, we've got Juicy and Sixless taking care of each other, so we'll have two players from SSG back up and fighting in a moment. Cat trying to be the lone defender here. Juicy low and slows, got the silencer, opens fire, and that will be what he needed. That gives them a huge advantage. Cat out, two teams left, 2v1 since one man is knocked. Shimon gonna possibly, getting picked up here. Is it gonna be enough? It's gonna be 2 versus 2.
It's going to be a 2 versus 2. SSG, they don't want to push because they know that Naoto got the upper hand here with the cover to work with. He's just trying to hold him off. So Shimon can actually just met up.
Shimon and Naoto trying to find the spot. Both teams know exactly where the other is. Looks like we don't have any nades, or those would have been tossed at this point. So it's going to come down to, as the circle closes, a split off the side. Naoto makes it to the top of the rock. Juicy's laying down and in the open. He should be visible in just a moment here. Sixless has a nade. I think he tossed one out there. It's a flash. And they're going to make the push on the flash. Is it going to be enough? No, they decide not to come out. Shimon with a really nice spot off here in the grass, waiting for them to come up. He's in that flanking position. So what's going to happen is Naoto's going to come out, try to open fire, and draw the attention of SSG to allow his partner to be the flanking spoiler.
And SSG, they need to move first. They're closest towards the circle itself.
Here it comes.
Here we go.
Naoto gets the knock. It's just down to Juicy in the grass. 2v1. The hunting party is out as they look for him. Naoto takes the point, walks up to the blue line. He doesn't see him. It's 1v1. Juicy with the spray. Does he pull it off? What a play. Scars Black just there at the end. Oh my gosh, what a fight. PLM was in such a strong position, Frogs, but at the end of the day, it simply was not enough. Scars Black comes out on top with one heck of a final fight.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to sleep on any teams here. We got the 16 best teams in the world. All of them are capable of doing a lot of damage to you, no matter who you are.
Absolutely. When we were up here on the desk, we saw the desk guys talking about Space Station Gaming during the opener. We saw Seven and we saw John say, I just don't know if their consistency is going to pay off. Apparently it might. This is what they do well, but a huge shout out to Scars Black. Well, that's it from me and Froz. What an epic first game. We'll be back for number 2, but for now, let's send it back over to the desk and Kylaris.
That's right, Scars Black gets themselves the victory here. Extremely impressive.